Robots and humans, hello, hello. I was telling everybody that got on early that I normally have music going, but since we are live streaming this, I didn't want uh, YouTube to take it down. So I
Ah,
didn't
yes,
start with music. So
wonderful.
I need to get some of that, like, what's the royalty-free
Udio,
music that I'm allowed to.
udio.com.
Yeah.
Make some AI generated.
Yeah, maybe you need to make us an AI theme song.
I think we should definitely have an AI theme song.
All right, saying yes to all the note takers. Yes, 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 because this is all about AI. Okay. And excellent. We are now officially live streaming to YouTube. So welcome everybody. And hello world. Isn't that what we say in the computer land? All right. Oh, I love all the fun, Arthur. So, Arthur, of your background, which things are AI and which things are just graphics?
Nothing's AI here.
Okay,
Just
good to know. Good to
yeah,
know.
yeah, it's all graphics.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm going to spotlight this so that everyone can see, and we'll point out that this is not AI generated. Even the background, you didn't AI generate the graphics. They came in a template.
no, no, no. They are not
Okay.
AI generated. We could AI generate them, but we didn't.
Just so everyone knows. Just so everyone knows. All right. Well, happy Wednesday and welcome to the next. This is the second official planning meeting for the AI Hackathon. So, your homework for this week was for each of the work streams to get together and figure out what are the great challenges that each work stream is going to have that could potentially be solved with AI or helped with AI. So I would love to go through our work streams and see if any of you have started down this path. Arthur, I know that you've got our content work stream and I saw your email, so I know that you've at least
Yeah.
done a little ideating. So let's
Now
start with
now we
content.
now we find out who are the good students and who are the bad students. Of
There are
course I
no
sent
bad
my
students, just people
Of
with less
course, I send
time.
my email out, 45 minutes before this meeting.
If it weren't for
Um,
deadlines, nothing would get done. That's why we do
well,
this.
yeah, exactly. Um, so what am I supposed to you want me to talk
Yeah,
about
so let me do
what I
the
suggested?
official. I'm sorry, I keep admitting people because for some reason I can't auto admit folks. So hello AI people, if you guys will figure out how I can auto admit people, it won't let me turn off the waiting room. It's so weird. So officially, those of you watching on YouTube who are not part of this planning meeting, let's kick off with the AI Hackathon. This is our Club Ichi gathering of a kind of a career incubator. It's the folks that are interested in what AI can do to help us create an event. So we are running toward the last week of September where we will be doing a virtual event about AI using as much AI as we can possibly use. This is our planning team here. We've broken it into some work streams and we've got volunteers on the work streams. If you are watching this and you would like to be a part of one of the work streams, drop me an email or Slack or whatever, carrier pigeon or AI bot or whatever, and we will get you onto one of these work streams. So today's meeting is going through each of the work streams and finding out what tasks or strategies or whatever happening within the work stream could be addressed with AI. It's not about what are the tools. Today, we're just going to go identify things. So each work stream leader should be bringing us what we think we can use AI for in our work stream, and then we can have a little conversation about it and ideate for just a few minutes. So, starting with Arthur and the content work stream, I know that we originally had talked about maybe there's some games we can play. Maybe we could do an AI avatar that's actually teaching something. So, what kinds of things can we use AI for in content? Arthur?
I suggested, well, first of all, we need some branding. We need a logo for the event. We need a color scheme. So we need to create some branding. We can create
And I
some
think our marketing team has branding on their list, so we can collaborate on that because obviously that will
exactly,
feed into the content.
exactly. We need to create some imagery for marketing materials, website, registration page, social media, and then I had also suggested on the content side some hacking, vibe coding, some type of UGC experience where, people can upload content or games where we can capture some data. And I suggested for my team to do a weekly kind of piggyback off this meeting, where we could just stay on after or start before and create together some content using Midjourney, ChatGPT, Claude, Kling. I've got the pro accounts and I'm ready to use them and use up my credits for this. Uh, um, so yeah, welcome to have everyone on. Obviously, hopefully, everyone on my team. I already lost my co lead. So if
I
anyone
know
wants to
she
jump
got thrown
in,
into 10 events this fall.
test, or anyone on my team, um, and was thinking of, yeah, like either recording the our side hackathons or streaming it like this, because I think there'll be good value for people because I want to actually like create the content together. I think if we all use our accounts, even if it's a free ChatGPT account, we're working on creating imagery or videos. If we work together at the same time, we, each modify our prompts, we'll get a lot more options to work from if it's versus just one person kind of just, creating images and videos. Um, so that was kind of my suggestion in terms of the content team. So
I love it. And Sarah Beth,
branding.
thank you. I will put you in place of Karen. So Sarah Beth has volunteered to be your co-lead.
All right, Sarah Beth, let's go.
Love you,
Woo-hoo.
made it.
I'm trying to find
Tess, I
Sarah
see
Beth.
your
Where
hand
is
up.
Sarah Beth?
Yeah, I loved what Arthur said because it's going to get the pure essence, like I talked about, around what a hackathon is, which is
Mhm.
working, but actually also bringing the veil back behind the process, the mistakes, the oops moments, which I think hopefully we'll use as a guiding light to step out of the main frame of having A-type personalities and perfection as meeting and event professionals and event marketers, and just see it's okay, right? And that be the education and learning along the way.
Yes, I would love it if when you guys do get together and decide to live stream, if you would show step by step, how does mid journey work? Like, we're going to make this person who's going to do this thing, and here's the script. Let's use ChatGPT to write the script. Let's drop it into mid journey and watch that video get generated or whatever. I just made that up. I have no idea if that's how it works. But yes, showing that would be really cool. Anka, she's like, no, that's not how it works. Shut up, Liz. Yes, Joanna.
Hi, my thoughts around content or would be really defining first what is the core content that we want to present? What do we want to talk about? What is the messaging behind it? Who's our who is our target audience? Like how are we who's our target audience and what do they care about? What are their pain points around AI, really documenting or coming up with a creative brief that really aligns with who do we want? Who are the 500 people we want at this event? What do they care about? And like start building out our content categories based on what their pain points are. That's just one idea, one way to go about it. Um, I,
I love it.
I mean, I think content includes words, imagery, brand, it includes it all, right? So I feel like the first step is really defining, getting a really core foundation for what are we doing here and getting agreement around that.
That's awesome. And we can use ChatGPT to help guide that,
Okay.
or
And
Claude,
yeah,
or whoever.
and I have used prompts that say, help me write a prompt for an event that is XYZ. What categories do people who are learning AI, what do they care about? And then just see what AI brings back. And it's pretty amazing. And then based on that, you can write the prompt of, all right, using these categories, how do we go deep in every one of those categories?
Fantastic. Thank you. Yes, Dax. Where'd you go?
Here we are. Thank
Oh,
you.
there you
So yes, I want to just add to what Joanna has said so well, which is there are AI tools that will create digital twins, essentially, of your target audience. And you can almost conduct virtual research with your target audience as digital twins, through some interesting AI tools. And so that would be a very fascinating. I've never done it. I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I've never done it. And it would be a fascinating way to get insight without actually talking to anyone. Now
Yeah.
that is very different than how I operate as a strategist. And so my second comment would be also related to what we've just talked about, is from a measurement standpoint, because that's my work group. I do want to understand people's needs and behaviors before we have this. So, from a measurement standpoint, to establish a baseline of what people are looking for, where their gaps in knowledge and understanding are, et cetera, and knowing that going in will help us from a measurement standpoint to compare whether or not we helped improve. Did we improve on what they? So that I wouldn't necessarily want to do with a digital twin, but I do think asking the audience is really crucial, and it'll help inform content, but it'll also help us.
That's great, Dex. So let's bring measurement up to the next piece of this content. Do we want to, before we go any further, put together a survey to send out and begin measuring now?
Yes, is the answer. So, and I think you obviously would think I would say that. Do you want me to go through the measurement piece now, or do you want to just on this
Yeah,
topic?
yeah, let's jump into that. This is a great start for content. I
Okay.
really like that. Arthur, obviously our 12 note takers will send you these notes, but I have also taken some notes. Anything else you want to add, Arthur, on content before we jump to Dex? Nope. Okay, perfect. All right, Dex,
Cool.
you're up.
So I do measurement strategy for a living, and I don't necessarily want to go to AI and ask them how we should do measurement, but
Why?
I do
Because you're
think
afraid they'll tell you you're wrong?
well, that may happen. So, but I do think,
Oh, we're losing you, Dex.
but I do think we can use AI for measurement. So we take, for example, this Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. You're
Hello.
back.
Can you hear me? Okay. This event Wi-Fi. I'm at an event. So from where I think we can use AI. So let's say we decide we're going to do a survey, pre-event survey. We can work with AI to craft the survey. What types of questions should we ask? So that can be certainly collaborative with AI. I would collaborate with AI to talk about what our goals are and what the target responses or results should be connected to those goals. So articulating goals and setting targets. I think AI could bring us some ideas for creative ways to get data from people, outside of the typical like polls and surveys that we all do at events. It will be fun to experiment and try some different techniques informed by a conversation with AI. I think AI could help us, maybe I said this, write the questions that we were asking people, writing the right types of questions to make sure we're getting the insights that we're looking for. I think AI could help us in our analysis and visualization of data. So as data comes in and post event, we could ask it to help us visualize that data in compelling ways. And of course, in our full report, we can also collaborate with AI to build the report. So it may not be as sexy as some of the other things, but I do think there are all different ways we could connect to AI tools to make measurement, to use it for measurement for this. And I'm welcome to other suggestions, but that's where we are.
That's great, Dex. Any other suggestions or thoughts on measurement and where we could use AI? Okay. Oh, Michelle, are you trying to unmute? There you are.
So I was just thinking about we could take all the data after the event, and also we can help us build personas around about who when going forward, who our the distinct target audiences are and like what their pain points were and how we
Yeah,
so yeah.
that's a good
That was-
point. It could help us better understand the audience. I think that's a great one. And you just made me think of another one, which is it could also give us insight about what we could do better next time. Actually make recommendations for future Gucci events. So great thoughts. I agree with you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, measurement team. Okay, well, Michelle, since you were already unmuted, how about you and Anka talk about production? What problems could be solved?
I think Olga's going to talk for us. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was muted on two ends. Um, so I think first thing first, we would like to know what is the platform that we're working.
Mhm.
And I think, Liz, you're very much aware that we're waiting a little bit on that. And once we get behind the hood, see what's possible, what's built in as far as AI features, then we will formulate a plan. Now, there's a lot of things we can do with AI on the production front. Some of it is very much content generation, openers, slides, videos, overlays, things that come on and off the screen, things like that. But again, understanding more of the capability of the platform that we're working with, and then building from there. We have quite a few ideas that we were playing with yesterday when we met internally. And we're very excited to deploy a plan and then make it happen and then see what works and what doesn't and troubleshoot along the way as well. One thing that I wanted to highlight, we have this AI tools spreadsheet, that matrix that we started in the Google Drive. I'm actually cleaning it up a little bit. I am your organization OCD person. So if it doesn't make sense to me, I will change it because it did not make sense to me what's happening over there. There are names of tools and links to other things. So if we're going to add, which I really hope that we're going to all collaborate to add a bunch of tools, think about the name of the tool, the website, what does it do as far as you're aware that it does, and then put a next to the column that you think that it best fits to. So is this creative copy? Is this research? Is this content? Is this marketing, attend experience? If you've used that tool, most likely you use it for a specific purpose, and it might have multiple purposes. So keep adding columns if it's not in there. But we would like to have this even as a resource once we're said and done, so we can provide it in a organized fashion. And then
That's
eventually
awesome.
we're going to organize it even more if we're going to talk about text to X, text to image, text to video, text to music, text to whatever it is that we want to organize it by. So that is
Okay.
kind of like what I was working a little bit on the back end. And
I'll go in and clean some of this up too.
the reason why this is important, because when we think about right run of shows, timelines, almost like it's that whole idea of like, let's create something. And then maybe we can go even further. And if we were to feed this into a LLM, see if we can get a different output, like some kind of automation, some kind of a bot that can fill it out for us, things like that, that again would have AI embedded into it. But those are just some of my thoughts right now. I'm sure I'll have more.
So once we finish this, I know you've been working a lot on creating your own agents. I loved the example you had of the speaker database. Is it something where this information could feed an EG bot and people could just ask and it would give them that info? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can
Super
definitely
cool.
to do that. So that's why I'm like creating the database. What we're working on right now, creating a database. If you don't have a clean database, you don't have a database to begin with, don't expect miracles. You still need
Yeah.
to train that AI with something. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. I love it. Thank you, Anka. Thanks, Michelle. Michelle, anything else to add? Yeah.
I was gonna add in one more thing, and we realized that, we have, as the production part, we have to work with many of the other departments pretty closely, when it comes to their content, the content, the branding, the logo, just so that we can get it all set up and, input it into the platform. And then also, if we've decided to go with that live event portion, if we're gonna go that route, on addition, then we just need to know that, because that brings a different aspect into utilizing that platform.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah.
Content party with production. Yes. I love it. All right. Well, let's talk about the branding and the marketing piece. So Dara, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi. So I made a few notes about the different use cases that we will likely need on the marketing side. First one, I definitely think some kind of project management tool would be very helpful.
Mhm.
I did set up an Excel sheet that we can use in the interim for like tracking progress of tasks, but I think project management tool would be great. Definitely think we need help with the brand positioning, brand guidelines, getting some chat GPT going for that. Audience research, like people mentioned. I have creative imagery, graphic design, copywriting, video editing / creation of video, email scheduling, email creation, and then depending on what tool we're using, trying to figuring out the like if we're doing a CRM when people are registering, if we're adding them to a database or if we're connecting to an existing database, how that can work. And then any marketing performance reporting you want to do.
Love it. And I'm going to add in just the exploration, not to say we're going to do it, but exploration of paid media and where AI could help if we actually wanted to try to throw some money at getting people to see the event and register for the event.
Totally.
Amazing. Any others on marketing, branding, messaging side? Graphics, you mentioned the graphic design, what's the look and feel going to be?
Yeah, and I think I'm the one that messed up the spreadsheet. So apologies for the mess that I put in there, but I just copy and pasted from ChatGPT like the recommended tools. So I'm sorry for the mess. But I went ahead and did some research on a couple of the tools that we could use. I mostly looked at things that were either free or like freemium, like they're low cost. So I do have some recommended tools for us to use.
Perfect.
I love that you mentioned that we should have a column if it's free or if it requires a subscription, because I
Yeah.
think that's very important to know.
Yeah, that's a great call out. And then when we get together next week, that's when we'll start getting through which tools we think we want to use and what the actual costs are looking like for each one. Because I know I tried to use Grok and I didn't know that they didn't really have a free version of Grok. You do have to pay no matter what, from what I could find.
do.
And so
Nope,
They
nope,
do.
that's not true.
They do
it
have
really, there's a
free.
free, it kept
I've
trying
been
to
using
make
free
them
for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
Maybe
quite
you try to
generous
use
with
Grok
its
4 or 5, which is their very latest model, and that would be a subscription base because it's
Maybe that's what I was at.
kind of
Yeah.
like
Okay.
your ChatGPT for $200 a month kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Oh,
Awesome.
and
All
also,
right.
so,
Yeah.
sorry, something just Dara just triggered something. We talked about in the production group that we were gonna make two kind of like um like funnels, but basically one if it's a paid, if we want to use paid AI or if we want to just do the whole event using just free resources, have two tracks, maybe we could show what an event could look like, maybe. But that'd be tough
Oh,
work, but like how
yeah.
it would
That's
look if you had a
interesting.
paid version or if you had a free version.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Especially if you're creating like a specific type of content. This is what we got using the free one. This is what upgraded
Right.
when we paid a little bit.
Mhm.
put
Yeah,
me in the
that's cool.
paid track.
What'd you say, Arthur?
I said, put me in the paid track.
Like, I only want professional stuff. No, some of us like to
The
work
free
on
one's going to be too
things.
hard for me, anyways. My creative mind. I need lots of tokens.
Awesome. Dara, I got it. Oh, I said Dara. I did it right. Didn't I do it right this
Got
time?
it
Or did I
right.
do it
Yep.
wrong this time?
Nope, you got it right. Thank you.
Okay, yay. Or Joanna, let's talk about our post event. What are you capturing along the way that could leverage AI?
So I only have a few minutes before I have to drop. I'm hoping
Okay.
Eric or Jackie can pick up. But my initial thoughts are it's all about use cases is our team, right? And writing, I'm thinking that is, once the event is over, we write use cases on all the different streams that we presented or that we worked on and how to, we can talk about, what kind of person would use AI for, the different tracks that we choose to do. And we can
Mhm.
use AI to summarize all the collective data that we gather. We can use that to summarize the use case. And maybe even some how-tos.
Yes, awesome. How to's. And then I think even some testimonials, or maybe if it's a
Yeah.
little post-event podcasty thing, is there something where we could take the recording from the how we did this and turn it into, what is it, the tool, the Opus, or one of those that like takes the clips and turns it into cool short form stuff and lets you send it everywhere? I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And yes, Pete really wants me to buy clubichi.ai, but it's $50 when clubichi.com was only like $1.99. So what do you think? You think we should own it? Should I buy it?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, definitely worth
Yeah.
$50.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Pitch in.
Can I, Liz?
And then we'll have our branding on your website. So
Okay.
make this a business plan.
All right. All right. I'll do it. Yes, Tess.
You can use that domain for this event if you buy it.
That's
You could
true.
host it on.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of cool. Liz, is there any way, and I don't know if you all talked about it before or not, that we could establish ground rules and a level of professionalism around respect for each other as we're going through the process? Because I think that should be a part of planning too, just in general, respecting other people's experience, other people's ideas, other people's just rules of engagement. Even if it's just lightweight, doesn't have to be very heavy. But as you're planning an event around a team, the energy can be wonderful, but I think sometimes we can also lose sight of, what is our baseline? What do we all agree to how we're going to move? So if we can think about that, and I don't know, will AI help us think through what that should be when you're working in a team environment with very different personalities that are coming together, meaning well with the guiding light, but how does that go along the way? And I think those aspects of this planning part, it would be kind of cool to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to take the lead on that one and come back to us? Like, is it a code of conduct that gets generated? It's a how we work together as a team. It's kind of
Yeah, I think so. So I'll work with Arthur and who was our new person? Sarah,
Oh,
right?
Sarah Beth.
Sarah Beth. And we'll talk through that because that could be a content piece, right? I think
Yeah,
we
I love
should.
that. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thanks, Tess. Natasha, attendee experience.
Yeah, hello. I missed last week, so hello everyone.
Hi.
I actually met with Anna briefly last night, so I know we need to gather with the rest of our team this week. We're playing catch up here. So we did talk and we are on the same page about a couple of things and just I don't think she's here right now, so I will speak for her and I right now. But a couple of things that we are a little concerned on or more wanting some direction is what is the end goal and who are the demographics. So because this is a large pool of people that we're putting this event on. So are we putting it on for, older individuals? Are we putting it on to, Gen Z and younger? Is it millennials? That's going to matter at the end. So an AI hackathon for millennials and Gen Z and younger, it's going to look very different from older demographics. So that's going to be, I think, really important to establish on who we're targeting this to, because there's a lot of information right now out there on YouTube with all the various tools and implementations and creations that you can use these with. So there's a lot of resources already out there. So what are we bringing to the table that's going to provide value for these individuals who are coming to it? And what's going to bring them to this? What are we teaching them or what are we showing to them? Because that's going to be really important to drive them into the website to, register, to come, to want to be a part. So I think that was a concern because like the different tools I use anywhere from 15 to 20, 25 different tools and, 10 plus tools a day, depending on what I'm doing. So just for reference, I wasn't here. I use every type of tool, image generation, coding, vibe coding, generate any of these individual tools I've dabbled in. So I have really gotten to take a look at all the different ones and how incredible they operate. And really anything can be created. Like that's the thing. There's no limit to what can be created. So for the registration piece, I know that we were talking about, okay, we can just vibe code an entire registration platform in probably 15, 20 minutes.
Define vibe code for me.
Okay, so vibe coding is so coding, those of you who know what coding is, right? Development for the back end for, websites, anything online, etc. That's a very, very vague description of
That's
that,
great.
but vibe coding is a
So
form.
it's vibe coding is prompting.
Yeah,
Like when
well,
you
vibe
prompt
coding
an
is-
LLM to build the code. So in
Yes.
that little snapshot that I sent, that I showed you with the production marketing copy, that's all vibe coding.
Yeah.
Like if
So
I
So,
know
so
so,
that,
vibe coding. So
so Natasha, as you, if
yeah.
you, Natasha, if you don't mind, I would like to pause. Liz, if you would just allow me to. So, in my way of trying to help people educate and learn, real-time examples are key. Natasha, you were explaining what you were saying. I
Mhm,
would like you to complete what you're saying as you're saying it before
mhm.
Anka, you jump in so that I'm clear with how the train of thought was going, with how she was approaching explaining it to us. And so if you could pause for a moment and allow that to happen and then speak, that would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, totally.
So, vibe coding is the new, it's a it's an incredible thing that we can do now. Essentially, anyone who wants to dabble into vibe coding can really, take a stab at it. But essentially it is creating any kind of app or web-based app website that beforehand as so I'm also a designer twofold. I'm a graphic designer, so these things I would never have been able to do. I would never have been able to be a vibe coder because if I wanted to create a website, for instance, I would have a development team who would be developing that piece. I would do the design, someone would develop it. Now I am the designer, the engineer, and the developer. Like I am doing the entire website, front end, back end, and deploying it. It is live and shipped all by me. So essentially using different tools. So you've got Cursor, you've got Replit, Lovable, Bolt. There's many, many of these types of platforms, and there's more coming each day. That's the thing. These platforms are just growing and growing. But essentially, I'll give you an example. I use Replit all the time, and I love Replit, but it's a platform where I can go in and speak to an LLM or their agent. It's called an agent in there. And I can one prompt a website. I want a registration website, XYZ, here's this. Boom. It builds the whole thing for me in a matter of minutes, depending on how
So now
complex.
when you say it builds it, what I'm trying to understand is, does it give you a whole bunch of HTML code and now you have to like buy a site and put it somewhere, or what does it do?
So what it does is, here, you know what? Would it be better if I showed you a vibe
Yes,
coded
share your
website?
screen. I'd love this.
Okay, let me hold one up for you. And this is actually a perfect place to demonstrate because it is a completely made up event registration website that I had fun with a couple months ago that I really just played with it to see what the possibilities were. And this was so for I'm loading it right now, but while it's loading, how I run this process so you can see how I got to this endpoint was I have an idea for a registration page and I need to know what needs to go on there. So I go into my LLM of choice, either Claude, Gemini, Chat, Grok, whichever one you choose. I go into it, I put my information on what I want, and I want a website. And then I go in there and I go, okay, I want this page, this page, this page to have X, Y, and Z. Give me a prompt that's going to deploy a fully responsive, mobile responsive website, just all the details that you can ask, any of these LLMs, what key details do I need to deploy a fully responsive website that is, got all the features that you might want, like safety pieces, um, other SEO elements that can go in there automatically with a one prompt. So let me see, it's loading right now. So what I would do is typically go in, put my prompt in there, get a really, really, the more information that you can put on your prompt, the better output, you'll get with websites, especially, and image generation and video generation, same thing. But now I'm getting my thing real quick.
I've got one up
So,
here right now on Bolt as well,
okay.
you can see.
So step one, Natasha, is you work with your LLM to help it build the correct prompt.
Yes.
Then you get that prompt created and take it to this tool that you're using,
Mhm.
Repla or something,
Yep.
and you drop the prompt in it.
Yep.
And now the tool is going to do whatever you're about to show us.
Yes. So here is the final outcome of what that tool is. So can you guys see it? Is it popping up?
Yes.
Okay. So this was created with a one prompt with minimal refinement and everything.
Wow.
We're talking fully responsive buttons.
Wow.
All
So there are buttons on it. Where do the buttons go? It built everything behind it too?
depending on what parameters you put into there, yeah, it can. So like,
So Natasha, do you have a dashboard for this on your back end?
no, not yet, because I just made this for fun. This
Got
was
it.
just for fun.
No,
I
I'm
was
just curious, like when you edit pieces and bits, does it give you a dashboard?
not on this end because I haven't built one in yet for it. So if I were to like use this for something, I'll build some sort
Where
of.
does the information go? So if someone actually were to register, like, did you have to set up a merchant account? Where's the
Oh,
database that all this stuff lives?
yeah, so this is the really exciting thing where I think I haven't heard anyone really talk about it yet in this group for, what can be done with AI. I know last time I heard a few words like replacing humans and things like that. Well, AI is not going to replace humans because it can't replace the human mind. It can't replace creativity in that terms. Humans have to prompt the AI to do what you need to do. But it removes the work, the timeless work that is just inundating every event planner. How many emails do you have to send out? How many responses? How many, attendees that you have to gather and get information? This is where AI comes into play in making that process so much more optimized. So like for instance, depending on what your CRM is, if you have a CRM, you can have a Google Sheets. It could be maybe it's the production platform that we're using. There's a backend if they have an API feed, essentially. And for those of you who don't know what an API feed, it's a way for a different platform to call to another platform, to integrate with another so that they can pull information through each other without, going all the back and forth. So for instance, if we have, let's say Salesforce, because everyone knows Salesforce. If that's our CRM, I can put an API integration into this field right here where all of this information, as soon as someone fills it out, it's immediately going into Salesforce, immediately. And then I can also set it up where now simultaneously, this is where the AI automations come into place. When that email or when this person registers, immediately it's going to send a chain of reaction. It's going to be in the CRM, whatever agent we decide on creating, or whoever is running this piece it's automatically sending a email confirmation to this person. And then now going forward, any kind of communication this person's going to get automatically. It's going to be piped through automatic feeds because this person's already been implemented. So that's really sorry, I was really thirsty. This is like just one really simple piece. Like you can segue this like, okay, is this a VIP? It's going to be put into a VIP category where, they're going to get special, communications, or the way you can automate it is you can really create any kind of automation you want now, whether it's email communication, whether it's, gathering information, sending them information, whether it's, giving them in a newsletter or an email. Like there's a lot of things that you can do now that it's really the sky's the limit. There is no limit. It's really just how creative you want to be and how creative you can get. But so for those who want to look at what this back end is, sorry, I'm pulling up the wrong thing here. Give me a second. So for the back end, sorry, this is what Replit looks like for those of you who don't know what the back end of these tools look like. So this is why it's called vibe coding. Right here, I'm speaking with my agent. This is an agent text. So I'm talking to change this. These are my changes. And I verbally express my changes. So beforehand, you'd go back and forth with development. They'd go into the code. They'd do these, pieces that might be really complex for most of us. And I'm not a coder. I'm not going to, lie and say I'm a coder, but I'm a vibe coder because I know how to understand how to use the LLM to work with my code. I don't necessarily need to know code, but the incredible thing is the more you work with an LLM in these tools, you start to pick up pieces of code. It starts to make sense a little bit. It's like, okay, I can kind of like gather little bits and pieces here. You don't need to fully understand code, but you can understand elements to make this work. And so
That's awesome.
and then like you have here, you've got all your files. These are, I mean, this is all very like almost gibberish for most of us, but, and I mean, a lot of this is necessary. I don't even understand most of these pieces unless I go in and ask individual questions. But that's the cool thing is that I can take this and say, hey, something's not working. So here's a good idea, example. If I wanted this right here, this AI brand skill to be an animated feature where let's say it's like, you know, it's doing something animated on the page. That is a custom animation where it would cost a lot more in the past to get something like that done. I don't necessarily know the code pieces how to change it, but I can ask an LLM, like let's say chat, hey chat, I want to implement some sort of animation. Maybe I found an example from a different website that I really like. And now I can ask it, okay, how do I change the code? And it could give me the entire code snippet. And I just copy and paste that code snippet, plop it right here in my message agent, and tell it where I want it changed. And it will just go right in there and do it. Now, a lot of
Awesome.
times you might need to go back and forth a little bit to get exactly what you want, but that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. It's reiterating constantly. How can I refine this? What? And then all of a sudden your prompting is improved because you knew what it didn't like last time, and now it, you know, now it knows it this time.
Yeah.
And that's also another element that AI, the more that you work with individual tools, you can actually start to train them. You can train them in your
Yeah.
style.
So
And
I think that it's a great plan for you to get together with Dara and kind of work through the marketing and attendee engagement piece. So the marketing piece has the registration, the
yeah.
forward facing, and the branding part,
Mhm.
and then having this opportunity to kind of combine it all together. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
especially around the like, because I don't know if I know like HubSpot, for example, is a free CRM, but I don't know what other like if we want to have our attendee data as a Google sheet or like what the database we want to use. So I feel like we'll need to be really like intertwined between our
yeah.
two groups of how we're capturing people's reg and what we want to do with it after.
I mean, and if we want to keep it simple where, you know, everyone can have access to it, a Google Sheet is a really easy way that it can be in one place, and any kind of automation that, like, for instance, any communications with attendees, we would use that spreadsheet. That's where we're going to pull. Like, so I use different tools like N8N and make.com. So I don't know if any of you
I
have
think
heard
you
of
guys can take that offline and talk about
Okay.
tools. So
But
that's
yeah,
going to happen next
So,
time. Eric, I
yeah.
saw your hand up. Did you have a question real quick?
No, I was just going to add an example of the types of iterations where, you know, you write some code and everything's scrolling the wrong direction, and you just say, please have the scrolling change from this to that, and it'll say, oh, I've done such and such, and you're right, and out rolls the new code.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, and that using that, we will automate going forward, you know, whatever attendee communication we have. So we can show you kind of once we have something set up, we can demonstrate what that looks like. Because the thing is these pieces are really simple to kind of put together. With the tools, if I need to put together an entire communication system, let's say with attendees for an event, I'm going to prompt that. I'm going to prompt, hey, what does my communication system look like for this event? Here's what I need. And then it's going to put it together for me. That's the crazy thing, is that it's going to put the work in that we used to do, all this like tedious time consuming efforts to create this, and it's going to put it together. For instance, another event that I just did, or I'm working on, I should say, for communication, I use Manus. I don't know if anyone knows what Manus is, but it's another AI agent tool, which, I mean, the possibilities with these, like Manus alone, is pretty wild. I can put together a dashboard in a matter of minutes with this, a fully deployed dashboard that looks beautiful. But using Manus to create an entire communications outline for me. Here's what I need, and it's going to go and do the research and get everything that I need put together in a beautiful looking PDF where I can go and share with people, or I can, you know, take that copy and refine it with different prompts. So
awesome. I'm going to pause you, Natasha.
yeah.
I want to move us. We've only got 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Arthur, did you have anything real quick?
Yeah, real quick. I am a huge vibe coder, love the vibe coding. I would just say this one thing. The one that we need to address is that the one serious sort of risk in the vibe coding, especially when people are not developers, is security. There was a huge leak just the other day. The tea app was a vibe coded app for women to spill the tea on men, and it was vibe coded, and they put all their credentials and secret keys in the front end, and it was hacked, and all the user data was leaked. So just something to keep in
Yeah.
mind.
Mhm.
That maybe if you're going to use a registration, maybe we can vibe code the front end, but use a back end that is, you know, extremely secure.
Well, so
Awesome. Thanks,
can I just
Arthur.
push back a little bit on that? So this is supposed to be an AI hackathon or AI inspired event, and I understand the security things. I know all about. I read all about that, and I understand because it's something I build these websites and sell them, so I understand these pieces. So, uh, as a AI inspired hackathon, back end deployment should also be AI built because that is what these tools are. Supabase is another one that you can build off the back end with AI, and I really think that we should look at something like that. Just because if we are going to put on an event that is AI, this is a well-known thing in the AI world right now that people are doing, and that's kind of what's been going on is AI is inspired reverse engineering. It's taken the CVent, which is expensive for everyone, especially small businesses who can't afford CVent because it's the pricing is robust, but now I can go in and reverse engineer CVent myself. And it could go for not even a fraction. It'd be so much. I can go sell it for $30 a month if someone wants to use it. So I think looking
Wild.
at developing the back end is going to be very useful for showcasing what AI can do because AI can do more than what we can imagine. I mean, I'm learning new things every day of what I can create and what I can do, and I think that would be a very, small teams who can't invest in big tools might be able to invest in an employee who knows how to vibe code or maybe hire out a contractor, which right now that's another thing. Entrepreneurship is growing in this country with these AI tools. The amount of small businesses that are coming up with younger individuals who are 30 and younger is it's inspiring to see what people are doing now because for instance, I mean, most of you don't really know me, but I've been on the job search for over 10 months. And I'm a 10-year vet of marketing, events, and branding, and the job market is insane. And I decided to take things into my own hand and build a business with AI because I found other individuals who are doing this, that this is possible because of these tools. This would never have been possible without these tools. In terms of what I'm providing for people and what I'm doing, I couldn't have done it. And it's all bootstrapped, which is something that a lot of these small businesses or individuals are doing because we can. Now we have the ability to use these tools to build my business bootstrapped and then grow from that. And I think
That's going to be really cool for us to keep going through this process and see what are the businesses that could come out of this. Like you're saying, it's a whole new line of consulting and freelancing to be
Yes.
able to do this. I know Anka has been doing a lot of that, consulting on AI and speaking about AI, and I think that it can
yeah.
create a
But
lot
I
of
do
fruitful
want to
opportunities.
back up a little bit, Arthur, what he was saying with security, because we are event professionals and we are entrusted with a lot of information. I would not want to
True.
be the person that builds something and then we just spill on the internet everybody's private information, even if
That's a great point. So
else.
Anka, I have questions too as we talk about this with some measurement stuff like what Dax is working on. When you just take that attendee list and load it into ChatGPT and say, now give me your insights, should we maybe not do that? Like, what are those rules and limitations around?
That's why we talk about Copilot Enterprise and other solutions, especially at the agency level, if security is of high importance. I know plenty of professionals that take their CRM spreadsheet and put it into ChatGPT, even in a non-paid tool, but that's on them. Like you have to take responsibility for your actions if something were to come back and bite you in the ass. So
Yeah.
we also have to think about our construct here, like our SOP. Yes, I'm all for innovation and enthusiasm and using all the tools, but let's create a little bit of a guideline of what we should or shouldn't do, especially if we're taking in other people's information and using it for registration and other purposes.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. So something to add in for our next conversation will be what are the protocols that we want to follow for this event and how we're using data and all of this stuff. We only have 10 minutes left, so I want to jump into our naming because this is going to kick off the messaging team and the branding team and how the event is going to move forward. So Derek gathered up in Slack the top 3 name ideas were just AI open house, event intelligence, and brains behind the bots. What's calling you all?
Can we just do a poll real quick?
We can do a poll real quick. So let's see. Can I create one? Polls. Poll question. Here we go. AI. Open house. Event intelligence, if I can spell it correctly. So already strike one for that. No, just kidding. Brains behind the bots. Save. Can I deploy? Save as meeting poll. A totally human event. I love that. Okay, my untitled poll is launching. Sorry, I didn't name it. Fourteen people have voted. 15 have voted of 24. Keep going. So far, well, I'm not going to influence you. I'll let you keep voting with your heart. 15 of 24 have voted. I don't know how many the other 15 might be note takers. So I'll give you 10 more seconds to vote if you haven't voted. All right. Our winner is Brains Behind the Bots. A totally human event. What do you think about that? Okay, so Brains. This is our name. Brain Behind the Bots. A totally human event. All right, marketing and messaging team. This should be fun.
Can we put totally human in air quotes?
Exactly. Or the totally part or the human part.
Either way, because it's totally human. I mean, obviously it's not. It's completely AI generated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've generated some funny copy too. I'll put it in the chat, but I think like a kind of push pull between the AI versus us will be pretty funny on social. So that's kind of my initial messaging thoughts, but I'll let you know what our team thinks as we talk on Friday.
I love it. So let's just go back to the Natasha's first question around the demographic. Who are we creating this for? I had not thought of any generational demographics. When I put the kind of the construct of what we're doing it was for me, any event professional or marketer who is looking to figure out like actually how to use AI in the planning of an event. And so I didn't put demographics around it. Do you think it's necessary? Should we craft the content so that it's like, if you're Gen Z, you'll love this? Because I don't buy into that because I'm old, but I still like some Gen Z things. So what do y'all think?
100%. If you don't define what that demographic is, Gen Z is one of the hardest audiences to capture in terms of getting their attention. You've got a 3-second attention span. So you have 3 seconds. That's the average to capture their attention. And the value is extremely important to them. What are they learning? What are they going to take away from this? And is that an actionable thing that they can leave here and go implement immediately into their work? I think that.
How does that differ from anyone else? Because I feel the same. And I'm a Gen X and that's all I want out of life too.
They are high speed and really fast learners. And if it's not advanced enough, that's it. They want working sessions. They want to work on something. They want to communicate with people. They don't want to listen. They don't want to listen to people speak. They want to.
Again, same.
Yeah, it's the same. And it's the thing that's the hardest thing is keynote speaking, things like that's really hard for them. There's so many content pieces pulling away. If we're not learning something new that's not on the internet or how it can be implemented directly into events like immediately, it's going to be really hard to bring them in to pay attention for the entire time.
Not one of us sat through this meeting without answering a WhatsApp, doing some text messages, checking Slack, and doing emails. So I think that we all feel the same. So do we want to say we're going to design the event for Gen Z and the rest of us are going to enjoy it too?
Yeah,
I say
I
we
mean,
design it for Liz. She's the perfect target audience.
yeah. And maybe it's like, and maybe there's a different method of like what we're teaching or what sharing during the event. So one thing that wasn't really discussed, but was the like token usage. Like that was discussed last time that I listened to, but most young individuals don't talk about tokens unless you're using like OpenAI as like Axis, like a different version of chat, which is very different, it's token based. But no one's talked about the different models within each platform. So ChatGPT has ChatGPT, 4.0, ChatGPT 03, like different Claude Sonnet.
But we'll get into those
Claude-
next week though, because that's when we're going to get into tools.
Okay.
So in our last 5 minutes, I think we've landed on the name then. I'm with you, Natasha, on like the speed of which we do stuff. I think that nobody wants to tune in to a 90-minute event where it's just a bunch of keynote speakers. No, like that's not what we're trying to do here. What we landed on last time was it's a 1-hour program with 30 minutes of kind of Q&A behind the scenes. Let's get in there and answer questions of how we did certain things. So the date for that, just so everyone has it on their calendar, because we're doing these at this time on Wednesdays the whole way through. So I figured why not keep it the same way, and let's aim for September 24th, same time. So if people are actually following this along, they'll get used to it. And on that date, will that work? Just send me a note if it's like absolutely positively not, I have something going on and can't be live, and we can see what we can work out. But if we just stick with this cadence and then aim for a 90-minute slot on September 24th. And then my next steps for all of you will be, I think today I should be able to get you connected with the platform so we can find out if there's even any AI whatsoever in the platform, or if everything we're bringing into it is all us bringing stuff from the outside. We now have our name so the teams can go forth and conquer. Everyone who has note takers, if you will drop those notes into our Google Drive so that everyone can see them. And Anka had a request that if you've got your note taker set up to automatically send to everyone who was in the meeting the notes, please turn that off. And we'll just look in the Google Drive for everybody's notes. And then action steps from that. So I'm going to go take a look at all of these notes, send out in the Slack channel the action steps for next week. But your big homework for this next week is to use that tool spreadsheet. And next week, you're bringing all the tools you've been exploring to solve the problems you identified for your work stream. You don't necessarily have to pick one yet. You can bring them in and we can talk through them in case people have used them before. But maybe you're leaning toward one, and that's cool too. Joanna, your comment, those interested in an AI event. What is this one, Joanna?
I just Googled who would be interested in an AI event, and that's the list that came up.
Awesome. Well, we'll keep it to marketing and event professionals, I think, for our persona. So we know that we're really digging into how we build this, what we're using, and how it can actually be deployed. I love keeping the guardrails around it so people understand what was free, what cost us money, and then the security conversation. So I'm definitely guilty of having loaded an event list before realizing, oh, wait, even though I pay for it, maybe that isn't private to me. So like, what are those things that we should be thinking about from an event planning perspective of the security woes of some of these things beyond just coding something that can be hacked by everybody? Okay. Any last big questions or clarity needed on our next steps?
I did prompt a potential theme song while we were chatting.
Bring it.
Can you hear it? Oh yeah.
Not yet, no.
Hold on.
Ready to innovate in this vibrant space. Algorithm magic, watch it take its place. Collaboration's the aim. Every keystroke we thrive in a world redesigned. Together we come alive. Data and dreams collide. It's possibilities inside. Creativity unties. Mama thinks in real time. We're elevating the game. This is how we ride.
Wow. Energy. Come on.
All we need is just a little mandolin, Arthur.
You know, it would be really fun. I don't know if you guys know Baba, the event rapper. If we did a wrap off where Baba could come in and do it as a
Holy!
human, and then we have AI do its own rap thing, and that could be part of the content of the wrap off, AI versus human.
I think they had that happening at Northwest Pacific show where he was against the AI. He definitely was better, but it was just so hilarious.
Bot versus not bot.
Yeah.
So amazing. All right. Well, this was awesome. Great conversation. Love the items that everybody brought up. Very, very good conversation. And we will see you all next week. And yes, for our partnership conversations, I wanted to make sure once we figure out next week all of those tools that we want to go look at, we can then see if we can reach out to those folks and see if they want to be a part of this. And then meanwhile, yes, we'll have another partner conversation on some of the other opportunities. All right. Well, we'll see you next week with your list of possible tools. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.